For today's project, I'm going to be showing you how I made this cute pillow out of Dollar Tree placemats. For this pillow here, I made two-sided. So this pillow cost me $2. I had the polyfill here. And what I started out doing is I put my image front to front and I sewed along the edge, but then when I turned it right side out, because the print is so close to the edge, you couldn't see most of it. So what I did instead was I just put them together and sewed the edges, leaving about, probably this much of an opening. Then I filled it and then basted it. And it turned out pretty cute. So I did this one, and I wanted to make pillows for my family members. So I went back and I got two of each of the ones that I liked. This cute Joy one and the poinsettia, and then two more of these truck ones, which so instead of doing like I did with this pillow here, I'm going to put a fabric back on the back side so that I can get more pillows. So for the Joy, I'm going to use this material that I have here. It's almost, I believe it's like a canvas. I've had it a long time. So I'm going to use that for the back of the Joy. And then for the back of the Christmas tree truck, I'm going to use this fabric here that I had left over from a stool that I made. So it's going to cost me nothing for the back of the pillows, so the pillows will actually be only $1 a piece. So let's get started. I've got my fabric, and this isn't drop cloth, but it's an upholstery fabric that I had left over, so I'm going to use this for the other two placemats that I have. And for these ones, if I was to just do the front to back, you would just, put them like this. The problem is these aren't the same size, so you have to get the same ones, and as you can see, and then you would just baste these and leave a small opening. And I followed the seam. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a seam on these mats. I just follow that, and you can't even see where you put it together. So for these ones, we're going to do the overhang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center my mats so that I have a little bit extra on each end to figure out what size I need to cut it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get your measuring tape out. Just eyeball it. And then I'm going to cut out my fabric. Now if you're going to use the fold over method, you're going to want to leave about 1 inch on each side. If you're just going to fray it, you can leave about 1/2 inch. It depends on how much of the fraying you want showing, but then you just cut it to where you want it, because you're going to sew it directly on the way it is. If you're going to fray it, you don't have to get it perfect, because once you get it all frayed, you can take your scissors and trim the excess. Like here, this is a little wonky. I'm not even going to worry about it until after I get it sewed. Now when sewing these placemats, use the heaviest duty needle that you have, like a jean, one that's recommended for jeans, because these placemats are quite thick, especially if you're going to use something like a drop cloth or upholstery fabric. You don't want to have any issues. So just follow your seam that's already on the placemat all the way around, and then leave yourself about a 3-inch opening on one end for your filler. Because the corners are so thick, I have to bring my starting stitch in a little bit so that I can get the stitch started. Now that I got my placemat on. I've left the whole opening for my hand so I can stuff it. And now I'm going to start my fridge edges. In order to do that, you need a seam ripper, and you're just going to gently find where your fabric starts to come out, and then you're just going to pull it. And you're going to do that all the way across until you hit your stitch, and that will give you that nice frayed look. With my fringe done, now remember the fringe takes a while. I filled it with polyfill, and I'm going to take and sew up the opening that I had. For the other pillow, if you want that nice seam, what you do, I do the long ends first before I do the other ends, but I fold it over to where it matches, and I cut it to make sure that there would be enough to grab onto. And then I just follow the stitch again all the way across, and then I'll do the same on the ends and do like I did with the other pillow and leave an opening about yay big to put my hand through to fill it. These are the 3 types of placemat pillows that I did, and they're all done in different ways. This one here is the front to back with 2. This one is with fabric, a drop cloth that I folded over and sewed, and this one I just cut it around the edge and then frayed it.